by the power of Grayskull.
Hey, welcome back for another video of some Starcraft fastest map on Brood War Remastered. So for this game we have Rabbit against LuckyBack. As you can see, there are score charts or score cards. LuckyBack has a very good Protoss. Pretty much he scores higher on everything except knowledge, experience and awareness, which are very specifically Rabbit's strongest points, because he's not a fast player, his macro is not that amazing, his micro isn't amazing either. Everything comes from his awareness, experience and knowledge, whereas LuckyBack is, well, somewhat weaker in all those fields. Let's dive into the game. Rabbit is one of those players who seriously has some of the most specific optimizations in his build order, all from his knowledge and experience. He is probably the most 1 versus 1 matches played out of, well, any player within the top 10 of the Korean fastest map scene. Just based on his raw mechanics and his speed, you wouldn't say that he is one of the best players if you were to look at him. But just purely based off of his, well, build orders, specialization, and sometimes how smart he can play, although sometimes very risky, you can. That's basically the entire thing that makes him a top 10 player. He knows what he's doing and he knows what his opponent is doing at all times, and he always or almost never misses things like drops or things happening on the map, and he responds to it in kind, so he knows what he's doing. That's the bottom line. As LuckyBack, I think, has less experience in 1 versus 1. Also based on the autosaves I got from him, there's not that many 1 versus 1 replays in there. He's mostly a team player for 2v2 and 3v3, in which he is probably in the top 4 or top 5 of the team players, of all the players. And there's more team players for fastest map than there are 1 versus 1 players. Because a lot of players simply don't have what it takes to play 1 versus 1, so they don't really bother to. So Rabbit here, knowing that his opponent, this is one of those optimizations that Rabbit has. He sees that his opponent went for +2 Nexus, followed up by Gateway, so he doesn't make a single sunken here in the front, because that would simply be a waste of his minerals. Instead, he saves up his minerals and builds more hatcheries. That's what I mean with his experience and knowledge. He just reads his opponent and goes for a superior option that might look risky, but he knows exactly that is something that lies within his ability to do. Likewise, here he goes for the harass with his 6 Zerglings instead of using his Zerglings in his base, and he gets some real damage down here on LuckyBack, slows him down just enough to make this +2 Nexus build order less effective, because he punishes him for it by going for those 6 Zerglings. So some players would in this case not have made Zerglings at all to have more drones, but Rabbit knows that if he goes in there to disrupt the mining speed of his opponent and disrupt the efficiency of this build order, he buys himself a bigger advantage than if he were to go for those drones instead. He's optimizing both on both areas really. He's abusing and he's optimizing his growth and scaling into a better economy, somewhere around the 6 or 7 minute mark, because he already has 4 hatcheries here in his base for macro, whereas most players would have gone for something else than this very specific optimization. They would have still made those sunkens here. They would maybe have cancelled those Zerglings. And Rabbit delayed his sunkens by I think a minute and a half, enabling this, which means he will have about 40 drones to match up with LuckyBack's probe production very soon. LuckyBack is at the moment still ahead of him. That's because he has to use drones to build those sunkens, and he has to wait for hatcheries to finish, overlords to finish as well, and basically you use drones as you build your base, whereas the Protoss does not. But he will about equally scale up into the mid-game as LuckyBack does. Well, LuckyBack here starts up with a lot of gazers there, so he's going to be building robos here on the middle, which Rabbit at the moment cannot contest because he used all of his Zerglings basically for something else. and he has used pretty much all of his units for something else, or all the larvae for something else. That's one of the downsides with Zerg. If you go for option A with your larva, you can't go for option B or C. So you always have to make a choice. What do I go for? What do I sacrifice? Whereas with Protoss, you're more diverse because you can basically build an army and build a base or build on the middle at the same time. Which is something LuckyBack is also facilitating by going for all those extra probes there to boost his economy. Which also, of course, widens his options in terms of spending, which he's doing very well. Cannon's already coming down here on the middle. 2 robots are on the middle as well, and adding on a lot of Stargates in his base for Corsairs, just to add them into the mix and annoy and harass those overlords here on the sides. He's already hitting 50 probes, only 550 into the match, whereas Toki is now on 38. But he's also ahead of the curve here because he's spending a lot of drones here on Sunkens in the front, spreading them out to the sides where Reavers have a harder time hitting the Sunkens because they have to shoot around the corner, which is something they can't really do. Also now starts building his Hydralisks because he knows that Robos are about to be finishing here on the middle or within LuckyBack's base. Also LuckyBack builds cannons now because he knows that it is an option for Toki to go for a Muleless cheese. LuckyBack never went inside of Toki's base, so LuckyBack has no information what Rabbit is up to. Rabbit now hitting the 50 drone mark, or very close to it, and sends this Zerg into the middle to see what LuckyBack is up to, and sees all those cannons and Zerglings, Zealots there. Also sees the shuttles and the robots in the back, and sees they're just finishing up, and saw the shuttle just spawning, so he knows that he has a little bit of time before Reavers or anything can fly into his base or attack him. Now LuckyBack is going for later Reavers, because he's making 2 more shuttles first, and probably is going to decide to fly in 12 Zealots to deal some harass here to Toki, but Toki has a nice amount of Hydralisks up and running. Still on those 4 hatcheries there. Well, that's basically all you need to scale up quick and fast, as long as you get those 4 hatcheries very early. He's building more hatcheries here. He's going to fill out this entire portion here with more hatcheries for, of course, macro purposes. So yeah, LuckyBack is scaling up pretty quick. 73 probes at 730. Perfect match there. And I think he's going to want to stay on about 73 or maybe 85, somewhere in between. Fleet Beacon, they're on the way for Disruption Web. Cannons being built here on the side to keep Rabbit's Overlords away from the hill and give himself as much as an advantage here. So he's using those Corsairs here, flying back and forth to try and pick off and kill Overlords. Deny as much vision as he can. Rabbit on the other end, though, is progressing vision down here on the bottom side, although I don't think it's ever really going to make much of a difference. Although in this specific case, the shuttle with the Reavers is going to fly in over the bottom side. Of course, they're overreaching, trying to kill an Overlord, but they pull back immediately. Also, on the center here, more Reavers are on the way. He's got a total of 6 robos there, only 5 cannons, 6 cannons still. But he will add more there into the middle later on. Also, a hatchery here on the side, so he can build a row of spores here, or creep colonies for Sunkens, anything he wants. And that's just because he needs creep here. And this is faster to build the hatchery here, because it adds more creep than creep colonies do. Otherwise, it would take a while before you can progress all the way over there. Also, Reaver shuttle coming down from the bottom side. Toki responds to it just in time. Reavers have nothing to fire on, so he picks up a Reaver and flies closer, but all the drones... Oh, he got a large chunk of drones there. I think got about 12 in total. So he got something. Even though Rabbit saw it coming, he responded a little bit late. He even saw it fly through this Overlord there on the bottom side. But sometimes it's hard to spot things on the other side of the map if you're mostly focused with your eyes on this section here. So we managed to sneak by right there at the bottom. 6 Reavers now here on the middle. You think he's going for mostly just Reaver shuttle drops into Toki's base, but I think Toki's going to handle himself just fine, although Toki is at the moment focusing on the top portion here instead of focusing on the bottom portion or this top portion there. But given that he's now on almost 120 supply and he's building and adding onto his base, he should be fine, I think, against those mass drops, although this drop might deal some damage, although there's vision everywhere, and he's got about 4 Scorches there, so we can snipe 2 shuttles to lower and decrease the amount. Also, he's setting his Hydralisks over into the fray, so Hydralisks are going to kill some stuff, and LuckyBack unloads everything pretty well with unload click. He's gonna keep, well, there's one more Reaver there, so 6 Reaver there on the low ground. The Zealots have gone down, and now he's just gonna try to clear out this bottom portion here before Toki sends in his Hydralisks. So try to do as much damage as he can, kill as many Hydralisks as he can, as another wave of Reavers here is on the way, and fly them in right after this wave here dies. Great surround here from Rabbit, kills most of the Reavers without losing too many of his Hydralisks. That is the importance of spreading out your Hydralisks before you go in, instead of sending them in a line, a conga line, where they just get mowed down one by one, which is not that effective and efficient. So his hatchery count has been reduced, but his drone count on 59, his base is getting bigger and bigger. He's just playing the slow turtle game, which is something he's very good at because of all his extensive knowledge of knowing exactly how to play a defensive Zerg better than anyone else does. He really does, and he also knows when to move out, but this time he knows that because of all these cannons here on the side, there's not much of an option other than to play defensive. Also, because LuckyBack is a pretty damn good Protoss, he doesn't want to take his chances and throw away the game. So another 5 Reavers, another 6 Reavers are spawning with only 5 shuttles. He won't be able to fit all of them in there, but at least he has another group of Reavers to fly in immediately after dropping the other set. Also, Lurkers being spread out all across his base, putting a couple of them here on the top side where he has Spores and Sunguns as well. Reavers are running into their deaths by accident because they didn't have Scarabs yet. Small little mismanagement there from him. Small little mismanagement. Won't cost him too much, but it's always worse than if it didn't happen. Yeah, loading up another group of his Templars. He's going to send that one to the bottom side to go for a double pronged or two-sided attack. One from the top side here where he has Reavers there ready to be unloaded next to the hill, but there's a lot of Reavers there. Wait, he doesn't decide to unload on top of the Lurkers. Instead he goes, ooh, this is absolutely great work there. And well, Rabbit loses almost all of his workers, and he's going to lose his hive there as well. He's going to keep it alive. It dies on the very last hit. This was a pretty damn good disruption web there, although there was nothing under it that could attack, but nonetheless it looked pretty. And actually some pretty great well, choices there from LuckyBack. Instead of deciding to unload right here, where he is at risk of losing his units pretty much instantly, he loads a little bit closer to the hive and takes the hive on the very first attempt. Also now tries to push it to the front, but Reavers are, well, tripping out because they are getting targeted by Sunguns just around the corner, which makes him trip out and try to walk closer and closer. Reaver AI is really dumb, and looks like Rabbit just knows how to abuse it. Like, you have to target fire with your Reavers, but then there's Sunguns around the corner, which the Reavers cannot hit, and it trips them out. The Rabbit is trying to rebuild. He made some mistakes by not putting... Well, he basically didn't respond to the drop. I'm not sure what it was all about. He didn't respond to it. Maybe he was distracted with the shuttle coming in from the bottom side and ignored the shuttle coming in from the top side, which is hard to spot because let me showcase this. He has some vision past the hill, but not that much. The vision you can see there on the minimap is not that extensive. Like, look at the minimap. Not that much vision there to work with. And he's getting even less vision here because LuckyBack has been clearing out all that vision. I'm just going to keep it like this for a little while longer. Right, so Course is flying here. So that means that we're going to be seeing a mass Reaver drop flying in very soon once again. LuckyBack is a pretty fast player, as you can see, because we're only 13 minutes in. And he already has the entire map secured and sealed off. No Observer here in the mix though, so the Reavers here on the low ground are going to go down pretty damn quick, so he picks them back up because he doesn't want to lose them. It's better to just pick them up, fly them back to safety instead of losing them. He lost them pretty close to the Sunguns because he wanted to get some shots off on the Sunguns, but doesn't get any shots off on the Sunguns because, well, Reavers are, again, not that smart. And you would have to target click, although most of these Sunguns have almost gone down. But he didn't get the results that he wanted right there. So this is not the most action-packed Protoss vs Zerg, but these hits have been pretty effective. Although, well, one hit was pretty effective, he immediately took the hive. But after that one, he didn't get that much results because, well, there's still vision here on the sides for Toki, although now he's clearing out those overlords. I really would have wanted LuckyBack to go for a more frontal attack heavy style with drops on the side. Well, drops on the minerals, but like not as the main focus. But he's going to try to get things done nonetheless. He needs an observer here in the mix. He unloads right next to the drones. Going to get some shots on the drones. The drones there running away. He kills only about 10, I think, or maybe even less. So yeah, once again, not the results you wanted. Rabbit is playing this one pretty well, and I think LuckyBack has to start thinking about alternatives. Because Rabbit has pretty much sealed off every single Reaver drop option for LuckyBack. Rabbit is still small, pretty small, but he has lurkers everywhere for defense, so he's playing pretty well in that regard. Playing pretty well in that regard. Of course, it's there on the side. Reaver's here on the middle. No shuttles yet. I think he's going to go for... Well, I want to see him go for a frontal push here, because that's the only way he's going to win this one. There's just simply too many units here all over the base that can kill Reavers, and he's going to have to fly through all those units and land on top of lurkers as well. Although there's a small little portion right here, right there, where there's almost no lurkers. But, of course, LuckyBack would have to be aware of this little portion, and I don't think he assumes that Rabbit is being sloppy here with his lurker placement. There's a lot of lurkers on the bottom side, almost no lurkers here. We don't have observers in the mix here for LuckyBack either, which is something, for example, 458 would have already gotten observers, or a lot of players would have already gotten observers here for those Reaver drops, but LuckyBack decided against it, although he is at the moment building mass gateways here on the side to switch over to maybe Dragoons with range, because he also has those upgrades here. 2-2 upgrades. He's got some Archons there for Maelstrom. Reavers here being left on the low ground. He throws down disruption webs on the lurkers instead of using observers. Pretty great choice, but there's a lurker right beneath those Reavers, and the Reavers are clipping into each other, so he doesn't get all the results he wanted to, but he gets an observer there in the mix. The observer just outside of the spore vision, so it goes undetected. And Reaver drop number 2 in the making. So yeah, not much happening here. Not much happening at all. He's trying to, but I think he has to switch up to an alternative here. Because Rabbit is now reaching the point where he is becoming rather hard to kill with this approach. Although almost all of the supply is in lurkers, and lurkers don't have that much offensive ability. But all Rabbit has to do is just try to break through the front here, and he has a free opening into the map. And the cannons here on the middle are not that bountiful. There are not that many cannons there. A lot of Templars there though, but I think he's going to pick up those Templars and put them into shuttles and try to go for mass storms on all the units he finds inside of Toki's base, and potentially go for a storm drop there as well. So Reaver's being loaded up, shuttles getting ready to fly in. There's a couple of Scorches there in between, Hireless there as well. But I think it's more... No! The Scorches are tripping out and they don't really do much. Templars down on the lookout, Reaver's on the lookout, he gets a storm up, gets another storm, gets 4 or 5 storms there. He kills a lot. I think he killed about 40 drones there in total. 57 of them stay alive, so that's a pretty good hit there for LuckyBack. But not that disastrous for Toki, given he still has 57 alive. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... Only 9 hatcheries? Well, 10, 11 hatcheries. I suck at counting. This one in the front there doesn't count because it's going to go down to these Reavers very soon. Although the Reavers are once again tripping balls and walking into those lurkers. Reavers, you are the enemy of mankind. He's trying to attack the Sunkens, but the Reavers are being dumb and they won't attack the Sunkens without walking themselves into Sunken range. Maybe if he takes down this hatchery first, maybe that will change the story, but I just don't know. 10 to 12 probes there into the fray. Once again, Reaver's bugging out. I seriously think this hatchery is being the evildoer here. The Goon's coming in as well with a 3-3-1 upgrades. Level 1 attack upgrade. That's a kind of a weird optimization there, but it finally, after the hatchery dies, he's taking care of all those Sunkens with disruption webs, preventing them from attacking, giving him a very easy time to tear through. And now the game is going to be harder and harder for Toki here, who's also having his mining optimization, well, reduced here, thanks to that Sunken here that's making those drones go all the way around, slowing down his income. You'll have to kill that one, but I don't think he noticed. Yeah, pretty much all the Sunkens that in the front have finally gone down, and LuckyBack is finally getting real results after that one-time lucky drop he did there on the Hive that Rabbit didn't respond to all too well. Rabbit here, though, has the opportunity to go out and try to kill those cannons, but he decides to play it safe. Even though I think he had enough Hireless there, he doesn't know what's behind the cannons. There could have been a lot of Reavers there, which I think he is assuming were there, but they weren't. So yeah, that's a little bit of a misguess there from Rabbit. That can happen to even the best players, as you can see. You just misread the situation. They'll drop here coming into the bottom side, but there's a lot of spores in between. Great disruption up there on the Sunkens. He gets the storm off. Basically misses the storms entirely. Although actually no, I thought he missed those storms, but huge hit there on the top side. So he killed about, I think, 40. There's only 43 remaining there for Rabbit. Rabbit now deciding to put his Slurps in the front to help defend. And LuckyBack is once again being kept out of Rabbit's base, who has pretty much fortified himself pretty damn well. Look at the spore count here. This is massive turtling that he learned in the UGL League, back when he played the UGL League, which is the predecessor of SCW, the fastest map. Oh, another drop here coming in. Great disruption up there once again on the lurkers, and he gets another storm down on the drones, but drones are going down. He kills, I think he killed about 8, not that many. Somehow he didn't kill that many, but killing anything at this point is beneficial for LuckyBack because Rabbit's minerals are dropping rather damn quick, and he is going to have to pull off some kind of a miracle. Although LuckyBack is struggling with breaking through the front because those Sunkens here on the sides are making it very hard for him, and those Islanders are just there to finish off whatever is left from the frontal attacks. So now a lot of Dragoons coming in here from the massive gateway proxy where he has 18 gateways that are on the side. So Reaver's just gonna have to push in. Templars coming into the mix as well to storm those lurker eggs and kill the lurkers. A couple of lurkers are going down. Yeah, a lot of lurker eggs are going down. Rabbit now on 54 drones, and he can't really build all that much. This looks to be one of those finishing moves here from LuckyBack, who's just going to tear through all this static defense here. And lurkers are burrowing up, but there is an observer here which detects the lurkers. And there's now an arbiter in the mix as well. He has level 2, level 3 air upgrades. A lot of Reavers here. That's so many Reavers. I think this is 8, 3, 4, a total of 11. Scorch there takes out the observer, so now there's no detection for those lurkers in the back. So another observer has to be made and be sent in. Although he's going to go for the recall because he got the energy. Recall there right on top of the drones. Now the drones going down to the recall. Great recall there from LuckyBack. Great mix-up from frontal attack into recall. And this is the nail in the coffin for Rabbit. Because there's no drones remaining here on the minerals. He only has 384 minerals in total. A couple of drones here spread about his base. Pulls all of his drones off the minerals and puts them back on the... well, off the gas and puts them back on the minerals. But I think this is it. Because once that observer arrives, once all the Dragoons are able to push through those lurkers, this game is done. Pretty much, yeah, this is a done deal. So LuckyBack, once he decided to move away from those Reaver drops into Rabbit's base, has gotten some real big progress here with great quick mix. Another Reaver drop there. No, another recall right on top of those drones with the disruption webs there on the spores to enable his arbiter to fly in. His disruption web use has been amazing. And once again, he prunes down the drone count down to 10. And only 18 minerals left for Rabbit. I think this is pretty much the worst state you could be in as a Zerg. He now has 16, but it's going to take a long time to rebuild that mineral count back to a place where he can't even resist these attacks here in the front. So yeah, he calls the GG. LuckyBack comes out on top with a pretty convincing performance. It didn't look that fast, but honestly, we are only 23 minutes in. He's been spamming out non-stop aggression. There was a little bit of time in between those Reaver drops, but after he moved away from the Reaver drops, his aggression has been non-stop. Mix it up with recalls, drops, frontal attacks, recalls, drops. Basically, rinse and repeat. And Rabbit's awareness was actually not that on point this game. Usually his awareness is on point. Usually he never misses a single drop and always pulls his drones to safety. I can even load up a replay to highlight it, how great his awareness is. Actually, I might cast it right after this one. Yeah, I'm going to cast it right after this one. Just like, I'm going to load it up right now and make this a 2 replay video. So just let me load that up and move straight into that one. So yeah, there's no scorecard for this match, because this match, well, I just decided to tack it on afterwards. On to the previous replay. This is once again a rabbit against someone else. It's Maximum, a name used by Leebokgu, also known as Gold SCV. Here on the Protoss on the bottom side of the map, and we've got a rabbit here on the top corner playing the orange Zerg. So once again a Zerg versus Protoss, but with a different Protoss. So now usually I don't mix names up this much in a replay, but I just wanted to add this one after it, because I felt that Rabbit didn't really get a chance to shine in terms of his awareness last game, and I really wanted to highlight his awareness. So I do have to spoil that I have seen this replay, not once, not twice, but about 3 times, but this replay never bores me, so, you know, why not share? So once again, a little bit of that Rabbit knowledge here on display. Places 2 hatcheries in the front to block access to the sunken with a nag. Pretty smart, because this really makes it very cheap to build a choke, although you do need 2 hatcheries, which are at risk of going down, but you simply make some sunkens here in the front, and the hatcheries are protected. Yeah, single hatchery in the back, and starts a lair at 314. A very early lair, which leads me to believe he's going for Mutalisks. There's pretty much no other option that is viable except Mutalisks this quick. Whereas Leebokgu here with the +1 Nexus into 3 gateways, into a forge, into a cyber core, and also already adding a roll here on the middle with a cannon with the support of 2 zealots. Sometimes Rabbit likes to push these sunkens forward to try and stop this, or he likes to make Zerglings to try and kill the probe, kill the cannon, and stop this from happening as well. But because this game he went for a very quick lair, he is not put in the position to go for exactly that. As a Hylisk then on the way for Lurkers or for Hylisks, you never know, he's got 2 options there. Yeah, this basically functions as 2 macro hatchers in this situation because he doesn't have to add that many sunkens here. Sunken coming down there in the front. Leebokgu killed one, gonna kill this one as well. It's just there to buy time. And Leebokgu is trying to progress his cannons forward to build cannons here in a line to kill those 2 hatcheries and make Rabbit pay for his seemingly very efficient style of choking. Robo finishes, shuttle is on the way, Robo number 2 also on the way. We have no Stargate yet, we have a support bay though on the way. And yeah, mining from 2 gas, and Leebokgu is just very slowly progressing into his next step. Now what I like about Leebokgu's Protoss vs Zerg, it is very optimized. Probably one of the most optimized Protoss vs Zergs I have seen ever. He goes for very great tech advancements, very great choices that basically no one else does. Not even Brain has this of an optimized Protoss vs Zerg. And I could even argue that Leebokgu's Protoss vs Zerg is better than Brain's. And that's a very big claim to make. But I think that the diversity of his approach is just so insanely good. So Rabbit here on his, well, trademark low APM. Leebokgu with his trademark low APM, but he always has very high EAPM. So some zealots arriving on the scene, a couple of Hylists there ready to defend, but the Hylist count is very small, so he pulls back to the sunkens. Leebokgu responds in kind by sending his zealots deeper into the base to try and see what Rabbit has inside of his base, gets a couple of Hylist kills, but the micro with the Hylist there comes out on top with more zealots already arriving there in the base, so the zealots outnumber the Hylisks, pulls back once again, tries to keep on microing, but zealots there going for the drones, they're in the back, but Mutalisks are on the way here, but not quick enough. He's gonna lose some of his drones here, get his mining disrupted there in the back. There's a lot of drone kills there for Maximum. I think he got about 4. Now the drones are running away from the minerals, and Hylisk there on the scene to kill the remaining drones, and Leebokgu is trying to kill as many drones as he can with his zealots. Mutalisks have finished. Reavers here on the front have finished as well. He goes to pick them up. Great multitasking there. Immediately switch over to those Reavers. The exact moment they finish. That's great optimization in habits, multitasking. He's just aware of everything he's doing. So 2 more Reavers have finished, and a Reaver and a shuttle are on the way. And we've got more pylons being built there on the middle, possibly for more robos, or maybe for more gateways. Stargate there in the base for Corsairs, another Stargate there on the way as well, and he's got Dragoon range queued up too. So instead of going for, well, he goes for a drop and a front push at the same time, killing sunkens there, while also a drop, here coming in, but he's gonna get intercepted by Hylisk and Mutalisk, and he kills the shuttle. The lowest single Reaver gets 2 kills with the Scarab, but not what he wanted with that one. So great awareness there from Rabbit, spots out the drop pretty much instantly and stops from happening. Also, Mutalisk might be here on the middle to kill those Reavers. Bam, down it goes. And he shuts that down without much effort whatsoever, loses 2 Hylisk, 3 Sunkens, and stays alive on a very low hatchery count, but with great optimization. Great optimization here, using Mutalisks and a low economy build really, really well. Evo Chambers there on the way for Spores, I'm sure. Queen Test there in the front. It's wise to make Queen Test there in the front, although drop here coming in for the bottom side, but he's spotted with the Overlord, and he's gonna try to intercept that. He's moving his Mutalisk in position and his Hylisk as well, and moves his drones away to safety, so that Reaver there in the back is not gonna get anything done whatsoever. But there's another Reaver there in another Reaver there in the shuttle, who has 2 drops effectively shut down with quick reaction speeds there, great awareness there from Toki. And yeah, still only on 3 Sunkens here in the front. The effectiveness and efficiency of that choke has really paid off, and it helped him go for a very low static defense build order, mostly using his Mutalisk and his Hylisk to defend. 2 more hatcheries there for macro in the back. A lot of gateways being built here on the middle for Leebokgu to reduce the distance to his enemy's base. More pylons there as well because he needs supply, and why not just spam them out into a block. It doesn't hurt you to just build a block of pylons. It's not pretty, but it works. That's what counts. So mass courses here on the bottom side, flying to kill those Mutalisks, also to kill those Overlords there on the side to deny vision. There he goes, attacks, and attacks here in the front as well, has a drop moving out at the same time. So 3 different things happening at the same time here from Leebokgu. In terms of aggression, great surround here on those Corsairs from Toki, splitting up his Mutalisks to basically nullify the effectiveness of the Corsairs, though he's losing a lot of Mutalisks there, but Corsairs are coming in to kill the remaining Corsairs. At the same time, he's moving out here on the top side there, trying to get a drop in, but Toki's already spawning to it, gonna snipe that shuttle, but he splits them up. He micros both of them separately. Another one here also coming in from at the same time from the bottom side. There's 2, 3, 4 shuttles being microed separately. Gets a storm on some drones. Drones dodging. All the drones are dodging the storms, but we lose, I think, about 4 or 5. Now the other drops coming in as well here from the side. This is madness. There's so many different shuttles he's got to deal with. Misses the storm on the minerals there, but there's still another Templar there inside that shuttle, which he's microing while doing everything else at the same time. He's going to get those drone kills. He gets the Templar on the low ground. Gets the storm. No, the storm is interrupted because the Templar couldn't reach the drones. And Rabbit here with some great awareness, great drone pooling, stays alive somehow miraculously. Meanwhile, Leebokgu scaling up, although he has a lot of overmining, because he is doing so many different styles of attacking at the same time. It is difficult to keep building and spending those minerals while you're doing all that sick microing with your shuttles and Templars and Corsairs all at the same time. So 2 drops coming in. One here at the top side, one is flying away. This one turns around. This one's going to come in. Rabbit's having a tough time juggling his attention and his multitasking, but he sends his drones all to safety. Storm comes down on the drones, but it misses. But there's still another shuttle here with a Templar in it, running away. Templar there, he's gonna turn around and try to get a storm on the drones. The Templar there, and it doesn't get a storm off, but it misses it by a mile. So all the drones once again staying alive, but a lot of lost mining time there for Rabbit, who somehow managed to not lose drones to those oddly well micro shuttles there from Leebokgu. But you basically never see shuttle use like this, ever. Leebokgu is pretty much the only player who I've seen pull this off, and most of the time he hits almost everything. And that's why his Protoss vs Zerg is so extremely lethal, because he can juggle basically 3 groups of shuttles entering your base at the same time and not make a mistake, as we saw right there. But first, our frontal attack happening here. Ag is trying to block the entrance. It blocks the entrance just in time, keeps those zealots out. So Leebokgu returns back to his cannons here at the block. Well, now he goes back in. I think he's just going to attack those hatcheries there. Shuttle coming in from the side here, but he's going to fly away. Scorch coming in to intercept them, but there's a drop coming in from this side as well, and he actually expertly intercepts both shuttle drops at the same time. One with Scorches, one with Hylisk. Well, this one is still alive with 4 Templars in it. Courses are clearing the way, clearing Overlords, clearing vision, which is going to get Rabbit supply stuck for a very short period of time. He has queued up new Overlords, but there's nothing he can produce at the moment. hatchery there in the front has gone down. So now the entrance is wide open. This means that Toki's going to have to add a lot of Sunken Sphere in the front to keep his opponent out. Also another drop here on the side, but there's a Scorch here that's spotting it out, but a single Scorch can't kill anything. So he's microing his shuttles away just in time and kills all the Scorchers with his Corsairs, although that one, yep, it goes down as well. So the shuttle's staying alive and healthy, but then Entangle and Snare comes down on the Corsairs, which slows down the Corsairs, and of course Overlord's still spreading out here on the sides. More Corsairs coming in to kill more Overlords, being very annoying. And he manages to get a pretty good hit off on those Corsairs with his Hylids, but I think this drop here on the top side still gets spotted out by the Overlord. Overlord's going to go down. This is pretty much a non-stop supply stuck state here for Toki. The Overlord's going down non-stop, but at least he's providing himself with a lot of vision there on the sides. Well, Leebokgu prepared himself for a frontal push here in the front with Zealots and Reavers. Also has two separate drops once again ready to move out. One is empty, one is filled up. His Corsair here in the mix as well to help those shuttles to get into the base. Yeah, these Zealots here in the front not achieving much, although it's only a couple Zealots sacrificing themselves. Corsairs going in, shuttles coming in there as well. Great disruption webs there on the Hylids. Gets the shuttle in all the way to the drones, and he pulls the drones off to safety. He doesn't lose any drones. Great storm dodging there. Wait, no, he loses. Great storms. Oh, more storms coming in here from Leebokgu, and he kills almost every single drone that was there. Toki managed to keep dodging storms for a very long time, but eventually Leebokgu hits the storms that were very difficult to drop because he stormed this, everything. Every single path Toki could take to safety, it got stormed by those Templars. So great disruption webs to help those shuttles fly in. And yeah, I think frontal attacks are going to be happening now as well, because there's a lot of Zealots here and pretty much nothing, no drones, no income, no minerals to add Sunkens to the front here. So Dragoon's going to come in. All he pulled back for now. Not sure why. He wants to get more units, I assume. A lot of Dragoons here on the middle. Templars loading up into the shuttles once again. I think he's going to split this one up to two different sides. Hylids still there on the sides to intercept them, but it's going to be difficult because a frontal attack is happening at the same time, which means he's going to have to send units to the front to defend. A lot of Corsairs coming into the mix as well to kill Overlords and kill Guardians and Devourers. So pretty much every single tech tree is being utilized here. Great disruption web there. Moves out of the disruption web to keep those Hylids able to keep firing. Drop here coming in from the top side as well at the same time. Devourer debuffing the Corsairs, but shuttle drop here coming in from the top side, and Rabbit is responding to it. He is still capable of dodging the storms here, and the Templars are too far away, but there's Reavers here in the mix as well. Reavers being micro with the shuttle, though. So many kills happening here. Still the Reaver in there, still the Reaver in the shuttle. He's going to fly next to the drones. The drones there, gets a shot of all the drones. The drones are stacking up, and he gets a kill on all the drones, despite the Scarab being even more kills on the drones. Only 11 drones left with 22 minerals, and it looks like Toki is done for. That was very close. The Scarab almost didn't explode, but it exploded on the last possible second, and then he got another hit off on the drones, and that's the game. Beautifully and expertly executed here from Maximum. This is a very technical performance from Leebokgu. He wasn't even going for mass frontal attacks all the time, but he was going for great Corsair and shuttle play with a lot of multitasking and juggling his attention between two separate locations, and he somehow pulls it off. Rabbit, on the other end, played it really well, but this is just so damn difficult to play against. This is so damn difficult to play against, and I haven't really seen anyone successfully beating this build order from Leebokgu. It just exposes and abuses every single weakness you have as a Zerg. Beautifully played. And yeah, sadly, Zerg loses again, but it's no shame to lose against this Protoss, in my honest opinion.